Hello, hello, lovely listeners of this podcast. Welcome to episode 29 of the Take It with the Pretty Sam podcast.
Alright.
We are your host, Mikki P.
And Ricky D.
And boy, oh boy, we got a show for you.
Oh, yes.
We actually got 4 segments today.
Yeah, rarity.
Very rare do we have 4 segments, but that's we cooked up some gas for y'all today.
Yes.
Ricky, what we got?
Oh, yeah. We got not only one what grinds our gears, we got 2.
Double what grinds my gears. Our gears were grinding this week.
Yes. One very stressful story time. And secret 4th segment.
You always gotta do a secret segment.
Yeah.
You gotta just listen and find out what it is.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's get started with the first segment. And welcome back to another recurring segment of What Grinds My Gears. So, Mickey, what grinds your gears?
Ricky, there's a specific thing grinding my gears today that I think a lot of people can find relatable. Public bathrooms.
Yes.
There are a lot of certain etiquette rules involved in public bathrooms, right? They're not written, they're unwritten, unspoken rules that we as a society just follow.
Yeah.
Except for certain people. There are certain people that are out here breaking the rules. And, I want to talk about it today because maybe they don't know what they're doing is breaking the rules because they're unspoken.
Yes.
So, this all comes from at work, using the bathroom at work. There's just certain things that you just don't do. All right?
Yeah.
Our bathrooms have 4 stalls. Now, the rule is that if someone's in stall 1, you don't go to stall 2 if stall 3 is available.
Yes.
Now, if stall 3 is taken, you might use 2 or 4, and that's fine. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
But if the other 3 are open, you better go to 3.
Yes.
That's the rule. There's also another unspoken rule, and that is that when you're done using the bathroom, before you go out into the stall, out of the stall to the sink, if there's someone already at the sink, you stand there in the stall until they're finished, until they leave, and then you come out and go to the sink.
I didn't really think that was a rule.
That's a rule, and it's very important. That's one of the rules. You stand there in the stall until they leave. Now, you might time it wrong and you both step out of the stall at the same time, but if you hear someone else flush before you're done, and then you're done, but then they're washing their hands, you better stand there and wait. That's one of the rules. But here, the next rule I'm going to discuss is pivotal. And I recently experienced someone breaking it.
Okay, what is it?
The rule is do not be on a phone call in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
There's people out here taking phone calls in the bathroom. What is that?
Oh. It's crazy.
That's crazy. They really be on the phone in the bathroom, and then I don't even know what to do. Like, is it rude for me to flush and then turn on the sink water? I don't want to interrupt their call, but I still got business to attend to here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to hear their conversation.
I also don't want to really hear their conversation. I don't really care what they're doing, what they're talking about.
No.
But some people be out here on the phone. I don't even know why you'd want to be on the phone in the bathroom. They really take the call. They be on the phone when they walk in the door. They go into the stall, pee, still on the phone. Flush, on the phone.
No,
Go watch the sink still on the phone talking. It's like I don't think the person on the other end of this call wants to hear this.
no, nah. I can't really do that. My social anxiety won't let me do that.
Yeah, I do not have the confidence to come into the bathroom with other people in it, especially with other people in it talking on the phone.
Yes.
I think that that's insane, but I've experienced that multiple times where people be on the phone in the bathroom and I just don't understand it. So, everybody out there listen, how about you just wait to call until you're finished in the bathroom?
Yes.
Make your calls elsewhere, perhaps
Yeah, maybe.
outside,
Yeah.
like a normal civilized person. Wait, who you were raised by wolves? Do a phone call in the bathroom. But I don't even see like the conversations never even seem that urgent either. Like they're not super important. You could definitely be like, I'll call you back.
Yes.
Nah, I don't understand. Have you experienced this, Ricky?
Nope.
You never. I mean, men are a lot faster in the bathroom, so maybe they
Yeah.
just wait.
Nah, no one really calls in the bathroom at all.
Do they do the stall thing? Do they skip one?
The urinals, yes. That is a general rule for
Okay.
very obvious reasons.
Well, the thing with urinals though is that it's not as much privacy as a stall.
But there's still that rule, and
Yeah.
there's still that guy that breaks that rule
Mm-hmm.
and makes it very awkward.
Mm-hmm. I don't see what's so difficult. You skip one. If it's available, you skip.
Yes. I mean, and plus with urinals, you can see,
Mm-hmm.
so there's just no way you should be breaking the rules.
There's no reason for it. And I've also noticed, you know what I think is funny in the bathroom? It's not a rule, but what I like is when I get out to the sink first and someone doesn't wait until I leave. They come
Yeah.
right out and then they're done washing their hands before I am when they started after me.
Yeah.
These people aren't washing their hands right.
Mm.
How you done before me when you started after me? Something's not adding up. You're not thorough enough. How will we take a little bit more time with the scrubbing? I mean, we need to clean things up with these people going out there dirty.
Yeah.
Y'all all nasty. You should wash your hands and don't be on the phone in the bathroom. God's sakes, don't be on the phone in the bathroom. That's the one rule that I care about the most. Because that is the most uncomfortable. But I do be in there, like, I look at my phone, I might text, I might check stuff. But to actively be on a phone call?
Uh, nah, but for me, I don't even be on the phone at all. I just gotta cut it off.
Well, at my job, I need that quiet time. I like having that little bit of time away from my desk. So yeah, I'll go in there and check my phone and stuff and take a little longer just to have that time. But it gets ruined frequently from people being on the phone.
Yes.
Because then it's like just such a weird, awkward situation. Like, what am I supposed to do if you're talking in the phone? Is it rude? It can't be rude for me to flush. Like, that's what this is for. This is a bathroom.
Yes.
But then it feels wrong and rude. Like I'm interrupting something. But it's really them that's wrong.
Yeah.
But it feels like I'm wrong.
Yeah, I feel like,
It's just a really odd social situation.
yeah.
Oh, everybody out there listening, let us know what do you do when someone's on the phone in the bathroom? Have you experienced this? What rules do you follow that I missed? Maybe there's something I've never even heard of. Certain etiquette things that you do in public bathrooms to be respectful to others or what you expect from others as well. what are the social protocols and what should I do when someone's on the phone in the bathroom? All right, now that we've gotten what grinds my gears out of the way, we've got another what grinds my gears, but this time Ricky's gears. Gears. Ricky's gears are grinded, and he's gonna share with us what's grinding his gears today. Ricky?
Oh, I have a lot to say about this. And it's a little known thing known as public transportation.
Mm.
So, say you don't really have a car or don't really have any license for that matter. How are
Mm-hmm.
you really gonna get anywhere? Uber prices, they,
Crazy.
here and there. It just varies.
Very
It's
expensive.
very random. But you do have another option. Public transportation, aka city bus. It's very cheap. If you're a minor, it only counts for like $1.
Mm.
If you're 18 and over, $2.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only positive about public transportation.
Mm.
Now, see, I was on the unfortunate that not having license till recently last year, so I didn't really have much of a choice.
You have to get on that bus.
Yeah, which if I had to choose between public or Uber, Uber is probably the best option.
Uber's much more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. Public bus, anyone can get on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Like even you can actually it varies. You can actually have people who are cordial, respectable, but then you just get the other breed of people who are crazy. And
Okay.
I've had some sharing experiences with some other crazy people out there. Nearly 2 years ago, actually, there was one guy. This really, I would say, socially awkward guy,
Hmm.
blasting music at the stop. And it just kind of goes on these nonsensical rants. Speaking full sentences, but it's like you just can't really tell what he's actually saying.
Who was he talking to?
I think he's just talking to anybody,
Mm.
even if you're actually listening or not. It just
Okay.
feels so awkward. And it almost feels like he's on something.
Mm. He probably was.
Has to be. And then, you know, another day where you can actually run into someone else who this one guy speaks really loud, almost as I don't know how to really say this without sounding a little bit offensive, but sound like he was mentally challenged.
Okay.
And it's like even if you were actually blasting on music like I was, you could still hear him.
Mm. And he was yelling?
Yeah. And then another one. Now this one is actually just plain just you will not even believe what I'm about to tell you. Because my route, what I used to take, takes you to like the courtyard. This guy goes onto the bus, pays, and then announces that he just got out of jail. Just so it was like, hey y'all, I just wanted to tell you I just got out of jail. So like,
What?
um, okay,
Okay.
how am I supposed to react to this?
Did everybody start clapping?
No,
They just sat there?
no, yeah, it just sat there.
It's like, okay, great. We got our own problems.
Oh,
No one cares.
and I'm just scratching it. It's just
Wow.
like literally to scratch the surface of what happened. Anyone can actually go up there, even if you're sober or not, homeless or not.
So not,
Because there are homeless people that go on that bus
of course.
and they smell
Ah.
bad, very bad.
Not smelly.
And even sometimes the bus smells bad altogether.
Mm.
Actually, one time after I got off, I actually felt sickness.
Does it just smell so bad?
I guess so. It's like I never ever in my life ever gone off a ride and actually felt sick.
Some smelly people out there, that's for sure.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do
But you
about
know,
it.
this bus was like a different kind of smell. It smelled good and bad at the same time.
What do you mean?
It's so hard to fully explain, Mickey. But it smelled good on one part, and then it smells bad. It just mixes.
Well, that's worse.
It just
That's real bad.
it does.
Ugh. I really don't have much experience on the city bus. I mean, I took it was like a city, I guess it was a city bus when
Yeah.
I lived in Radford a little bit, but it was like mostly college students. It wasn't like all the crazy people. So I don't think I had
No.
the full experience that you're describing in a suburban area that's more populated. Um, there was, I mean, there were some. It wasn't anything like what you're describing,
No.
so I don't
Couldn't
know
be.
what that's like.
It really couldn't be because well, it was mostly college students. Then it's just like, you know, you're gonna be expecting a lot of them.
Hmm.
And even with that, that's a that's like the biggest problem. A lot of times when you want to navigate different spots, bus only has one route. So that means you have to really get off one bus and then actually transfer to another bus. And you
Hmm.
have to really do it right. Because one time I did make a mistake and I ended up leaving the city all the way going all the way to Norfolk.
Mm.
Had to transfer to the bus that took me there to go all the way back.
Oh man.
Yeah, you have to actually memorize. There's a lot of memorization. You got to memorize the route numbers
Hmm.
and the schedule. Because you mess that up, you have to actually wait for another one. And then what if that ride gets canceled? I've had rides get canceled before. You got to wait for another one.
You talking about Uber?
No, I'm talking about a
The
bus.
bus?
Yeah, it has its
How
own
the
schedule.
bus can get canceled?
Yeah, the route can actually get canceled. That's a paranoia I have to actually deal with every day. Like, oh god, it gets canceled. Can't ride it that day.
Man, how you gonna get to work?
I should think of another option. Or you're just gonna have to be late. That's it.
Mm.
You have to actually go onto the website, memorize the timing. Well, you have to actually check it every day. That's exactly what I did. Just to fully make sure that it's not canceled. And then I have to also pray that it's a 50-50 shot. It's a normal route. No crazy people.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
You can't see that online in advance.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta just get on that bus and see who's crazy today.
Yes, gotta be lucky. And hopefully there aren't any children, because that's also happened. Babies too.
Well,
And
what's wrong with that?
sometimes they cry, sometimes they're just screaming.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Those are a lot of reasons why I personally hated public transportation. As soon as I actually got a license and waited some time to get a car and never looked back. In fact, as we're recording this, it's June. Last time I rode the bus was all the way like in March.
Well, it's been a while now. So
Yes.
you're in a new routine.
Yeah. Yep. Finally got a car. And I can finally get places on my own.
You're not dealing with that nonsense.
Yeah. All I gotta do is just deal with the car nonsense, which
Well,
I've
yeah.
I would rather deal with what I needed to deal with a car than ever take public transportation ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Done with it, and I'm done riding with random people who sometimes are regular, sometimes I've never seen before and never will see again.
Yeah, but there's one form of public transportation that is pretty much unavoidable. Planes.
Yeah,
That we still can't get our own planes and fly without dealing with other people, unfortunately.
yeah. Well, I mean, hope, but I mean, a good thing is that we're not really traveling on planes that much.
Some people are.
Yeah,
Some people travel on planes a lot. So maybe one day we'll get like the Jetsons and we'll just have flying cars.
yes,
Because I know we already talked about planes when we were on one last year
yeah,
on our episode. We became Florida Man. But that's like just this one last area where you can't travel by yourself if you want to, unless you're super mega rich and you can get a PJ,
yes,
which most people are not. 99% of people don't have it like that. So, public transportation is still a thing there, and it's really just a bus in the sky.
yep,
Might be some crazy people. We've heard about a lot of crazy people on planes.
yes,
We've also heard about things going wrong on planes,
yes.
which is much worse than things going wrong on the bus,
Oh yeah,
because at least the bus isn't 30,000 feet in the air.
yes.
Yeah, that's the last facet of public transportation that like just buying a car doesn't fully replace.
Nope.
But maybe one day in our lifetime.
Hopefully. And welcome to Story Time. This time, Mickey P has a story to tell you all.
Yeah, and you as well, Ricky, because I decided to save the story for the podcast.
Oh, really? What is it?
All right, let's jump right in on. So today, as if we're recording this particular segment, it is June 22nd. All right, Juneteenth has just passed. I hope you all had a lovely Juneteenth. I took off work on Juneteenth. I would have had to work. We were not off, but I took it off, and so I just had a lovely day at home. I didn't go anywhere. And that was nice. I had a nice time. And so then let's fast forward to the next morning, Thursday. Juneteenth was on Wednesday. Yeah, so Thursday, I had to go to work in the morning again. Back to work, right? Of course.
Yes.
So what do? I get ready in the morning, do my morning routine, head out to my car, start it up, time to go. Everything was normal.
Okay.
Up until I got close to the highway exit for my place of work. And then this is when I got a warning signal on my car. It said check charging system. Now, I've never seen this before. This has never happened to me before. I didn't even know what it meant. But I was scared and I got to work just fine. I figured I would get there. But then very close to getting there, my car started overheating. It was getting very hot. The temperature gauge was all the way up. I started blasting the heat, which brought it down a little bit.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, something's really wrong. This is not just any random warning. Something is really wrong here. So I just, parked to where I usually park at work. And I was like, okay, I'll have to deal with this later. I need to go to work. And while I was at work, I looked into the issue a little bit. It sounded like it was probably going to be the alternator. I had just had my battery replaced a few months ago, so I knew it wasn't the battery. The battery is brand new. So I was like, oh my God, it's probably the alternator. I'm gonna need a new alternator. I was looking into that. And then at the same time, I was kind of confused because everything was fine. And so then let's fast forward to later that day, um, driving away from work. The issue was still persistent. I was hoping maybe it would clear itself out after having the car stopped for a little bit. Maybe there was just something in the way or something. I don't know. You know, sometimes that happens with electrical things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to turn it off, let it sit. That did not work. It was overheating again. It was telling me to check my charging system. And I was like, oh Lord, what is this? So then the next day, luckily, I had already taken off the next day. I was off on Friday. So what I did was, I was like, this is perfect. I don't even have to worry about driving to work. I'll just drive straight to my usual mechanic. I've got a trusty place that I go to in Norfolk that always does me good. Yeah. So I'll just take it there first thing in the morning. I'll be first in line. And so that's what I was gonna do. And I got up and I was driving there and Stangy didn't make it there, y'all. Could not get all the way there. The issue was happening again. It wasn't overheating yet, but it was telling me to check my charging system, and then all of a sudden I had all electrical failures. Oh. The electrical system was not working at all. The my radio started acting up. It was just like flipping, turning on and off on its own. What? It was really strange. And then the then my power steering cut off. My steering wheel was locked up in place. Oh no. My steering wheel would not turn. I could like barely budge it. If I really put a lot of force, I could budge it, but it was not turning. My steering wheel wasn't turning. And then my brakes failed. Oh. My brake pedal wouldn't press. My brake pedal was stuck in its spot and it would not press. All right. Yeah. And then, so then, like, luckily, this was before I got to the highway. I was not on the highway yet. Oh, I was like very close to pulling onto the highway. So this was all happening then. So I was like, okay, I'll just pull over. I had to pull over. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to. I didn't want to have to get towed. I really was trying to avoid that. But then I had to get a tow. I had to get a tow truck. Luckily, I got AAA. Because then I cut the car off and I couldn't cut it back on. It wouldn't even start. And I was like, oh my God. I just like the battery's not working. This is new. Okay, so then and I was like freaking out. I was like on the brink of tears, like just freaking out about all of this. Like it's a very stressful situation. Yeah, I can understand. And so then it actually didn't take long. AAA got to me within like 20 minutes. I wasn't sitting on the side of the road too long. And then so then they towed my car to where I was going, my mechanic. And then once there, I explained to the person, you know, what was going on. And he was like, "Okay, we're gonna look at it and we'll call you in a little bit." I was like, "All right," and I went home. So then fast forward maybe 2 hours or so later, I get a call from the place to let me know what was going on. Right. And they opened it up. I told them I thought it was the alternator. He said, "Yeah, it's the alternator. The problem is there's some type of rodent that got into your car." He was like, this man sounded like he had seen war, like combat. Oh, good. He he sounded so stressed and like he sounded traumatized, like he had seen something. Like he had seen a war zone. He was describing to me. He said it was awful. He said what we saw was it was really bad. It was really bad when we opened it up, we saw something really bad. It looks like there's some type of animal in your engine, and it got into your onto the belt. So if you don't know about cars, there's a belt supposed to move. When you start up your car, it
Yes.
moves and it goes from the I might be mixing this up. I'm just now learning about this myself. The alternator charges. I don't. Is it the alternator charges the battery, or the battery charges the alternator? I don't know. But then there's this belt in there that moves and moves and moves really fast.
Yes.
The and there was and it turned out that it was a possum. A possum had crawled into my engine probably sometime on Wednesday when I didn't drive. So then when I went to work Thursday and it was in there, I started up my car, not knowing, and I like grinded this thing up into my engine.
Oh.
This poor possum, this man and these poor men that were in there trying to fix my car that saw this. He said that there was fur and blood all over my said there was fur and blood all over the place, and I think the only way he could have known it was a possum is that he found a head of some kind. He must have found a head somewhere. He said he thinks there was a tail. I was like, oh my God. And then so the belt pushed that thing into my alternator, which shot my alternator and it shot the belt as well, grinding up bones and fur and stuff that's not supposed to be in there. So that's what messed up my alternator. The battery was fine, but the alternator was all messed up because I killed an animal in my engine. And what he told me, it's funny, he got it fixed. These are great people. They had it done for me by that afternoon. And yeah, $1,000 later, it's all set. But he told me I need to find a hose. I need to get a hose and rinse out the rest of my engine block. He said it smells really bad. He said they removed what they could, but I really need to get in there so I can get the rest of the remains out of my engine block. I was like, oh God, why me? Why me? Of all the cars on my street, like, why do these things have to happen to me? All these cars, you got into my engine.
I guess the Mustang was comfortable.
Mustang was comfortable. You know what's funny? I need to talk to my neighbor because I just had a neighbor move in down the street that also drives a Mustang. And when I was getting back home after dropping off my car, I saw him out front with his hood up. So I wonder if maybe another one got into his. Mustangs are a perfect bed, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where you sleep. Let me tell you what, you know, and we just, Ricky and I just got haircuts, and I was telling the barber this story, and he said, "Yeah, I hope his relatives learn not to sleep in an engine. Better learn from this guy's mistake."
Yes.
Because, like, what a way to go! Getting grinded up, it's like a scene at a Final Destination.
I can imagine.
Getting all grinded up,
Like, yeah.
probably did that poor thing didn't know what hit him.
Yep.
He was just sleeping, and then all of a sudden, you're dead. I didn't even hear anything. Like, that's the wild thing. The car started fine that first time. Normal.
Yeah.
It was perfectly normal. And you know, Ricky, I had a moment that I don't think all of our listeners are gonna understand or relate to. I had a woman's intuition moment.
Mm.
In that moment, when I started my car on Thursday, I just had a bad feeling something was wrong with it. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And it started fine. Everything was normal. And I didn't know where these feelings were coming from. And I noticed I forgot my watch in my house.
Yeah.
And usually in that type of situation, I would turn the car off and take the keys with me, right? You don't
Yeah.
leave your car running out front because someone can come and steal it. But I had a bad feeling that if I turned it off, I wasn't going to be able to start it again. So I took my spare keys and I went back in the house and got my watch and I just left it running. I just went really quick. I looked around and made sure no one was around and that was fine. But I don't know, I just had this feeling that I can't explain. I was like, something's not right. And I didn't hear anything. Everything was completely normal. It was a normal morning.
Yeah.
I just had it was like a woman's intuition moment where I can't even put my finger on it. I just had a bad feeling. And it ended up being true.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in that moment, but then once I got down the street, about 10 minutes later, that's when everything was wrong. So I ended up being right about it. But I'm surprised there was no. I didn't hear any screaming, or
I mean,
I don't know if possums do that, or maybe it was dead before it could scream.
well, I mean, that was the best option. That was
hopefully,
like the best outcome.
hopefully it was dead quick. I really hope I didn't torture the thing. If I had known, I wouldn't have done it. There's no way to know. You
Yeah.
don't check your engine every morning before you go to work. You know, it's just not something you do.
Now it's make me want to actually check my engine.
You gotta make sure there's nothing living in it.
Yeah.
Took one day off. I don't even know, like, why would it get into a car? It's not like it's cold outside. Like, this would make more sense to me in the winter time. They're looking for a warm place to sleep, but it's not cold. It's June.
It was so. How did he even get in the engine?
Just crawled up underneath.
Oh, that's.
They can just crawl up underneath because for some reason cars don't have a bottom to close it off. I guess it maybe they need air.
I mean,
So there's no bottom, so you can get into your engine from right underneath. So yeah, anything can get in there and just crawl in there and take a nap.
yeah.
And people talk really badly about Mustangs. And I've had a lot of issues with my Mustang over the years. But this one wasn't the car's fault. I thought this was another Mustang thing, another Ford thing where Fords are bad, whatever, everything people say, all the negative stuff. But and I thought that's what I thought it was until the guy called me horrified, saying it wasn't the car's fault. It was an animal crawled into it. This could happen to anyone, honestly.
Yeah.
If you park on the street, this could happen to you. Um, or park outside in general, driveway, whatever, parking space. Yeah, a small animal can crawl in and decide to take a little siesta in your engine. And you might start it up and grind the poor thing up into little bits and pieces. I was wondering, it's funny. I didn't see any blood. I looked at the engine myself before I took it to the mechanic. I wanted to see if there was anything visible, even for me as not a mechanic.
Yes.
Does anything look off? I looked at it. I didn't see anything crazy. So it must have been like deep underneath.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing was very buried in there. Because just popping the hood and looking, there was nothing visible. But I was wondering if, like, maybe when I pulled away, was there a little puddle of blood in the parking space? I didn't see any when I came back, and it didn't rain. Well, there like must have been blood dripping out of my car.
Ah.
Must have been blood, like just dripping, little patch of fur in the parking space, and I'm just driving off, doo doo doo. Got my music playing on my way to work. Meanwhile, I'm torturing an animal in the in the same moment. All right, yeah. So that's my story, y'all. Story time with Mickey P. I killed an animal in my Mustang.
Not something you hear every day. Usually, not inside. Usually, time would be like roadkill.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is that's what the guy first said. He said you hit something. That's what he said. You hit something. And when he said you hit something, he didn't say an animal. I was like, I wasn't in an accident. What do you mean? I didn't hit a sign. Like, what are you talking about? It was like you hit an animal. It's like I don't think I hit an animal. I feel like I would know if I had hit an animal.
Mhm.
And yeah, later he said it just crawled in because there was no damage. There's no like he said there's no visible damage to anything like something that looks like I struck something. So yeah, it probably just crawled in on its own.
Yeah.
And I murdered it. I bloody murdered that possum that was just trying to get some sleep. All right, yep, story time with Mickey P. All right, for this segment, Ricky's got something to share with us. He would like to talk to us about Gen Z slang.
Yes, sir.
What you got, Ricky?
Well, Gen Z. Mikki and I are in that generation.
Hmm.
And this generation is both the good and worst generation of all time.
Okay.
But that's a story for another time. What's. You know what? No intro. I'm gonna actually say a bunch of slangs, and I want you, Mickey, to know how you feel about it.
Let me just real quick just mention I'm not really up on all the slang. I probably won't even know most of what you're gonna say. I don't really use social media, so I don't know what's going on out there. So you're gonna have to teach me something, Ricky.
Okay. Okay. Number one, lit.
Well, everybody says lit.
Yeah. Okay. Number two, and I may pronounce this wrong. FOMO.
FOMO?
Yeah, FOMO.
That's like a millennial thing. That's old.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Number three, no cap.
Like no cap. I
Uh,
actually I use that one. Cap, no cap. That's cap. I don't really use no cap. But I might say, no, that's cap.
hmm.
Okay. Okay, I'm good so far. I'm 3 for 3.
Okay. Next one, low key.
Low key, I say that a lot.
Okay. And then here's the opposite, high key.
Of course.
Okay. Next one, cap. Oh no, no, not cap. Clout.
Clout. Yeah, the first time I ever heard clout was when that Offset and Cardi B song,
Yeah.
Do Anything for Clout. That was a few years ago. That was the first time I heard clout, but now I've heard it a lot since then.
Okay, fine. Next up, yeet.
Now that's Gen Z slang right
Yeah.
there. I've never said yeet. Well, what does it mean exactly?
When you uh, it's when you actually, well, it's when you just actually throw something before you throw it. You say
Oh,
the
yes, yes.
cross.
Yes, I've heard this before. Like when you see something get thrown or like you see something get launched,
Yep.
like an animal jump from a high distance, you might say yeet.
Mhm. Okay. Next up, IRL.
IRL, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty common slang because of you kind of have to sometimes you have to specify whether you're talking about
Mm.
real life or not real life.
No, no, that's not. Well, it is kind of, but IRL nowadays it's really popular for IRL streams.
IRL streams like when people stream from random places.
Yeah, they just have roam around and they just stream.
Okay, I'm not up on that.
It like it's sometimes it's toxic. Actually, no, it's right. A lot of times it's toxic
That sounds toxic for sure.
because
That's annoying.
yeah, and especially part for course. You ever heard of Kick?
Kick?
Yeah, it's a new streaming.
Oh,
It's
I
like
thought you were talking about that old messaging app that nobody uses anymore.
nah, nah,
Yeah, I had Kick, but what's Kick now?
nah. This is different. It's streaming. and
Oh.
a lot of IRL streams happen on there. And most of the time, it's just people being nuisance to other people.
I hate that.
Yes, there's this
So cringe.
yeah, one guy is just actually just messes with people, and he always has his bodyguard. So whenever time another person just wants to actually fight this guy, bodyguard just steps in.
So he pisses people off, and then he's got his goons to take care of the aftermath, the
Yeah,
consequences. So he's
yeah,
got no consequences for his actions.
no,
Okay. That's annoying.
yes it
I hate it.
is.
Thanks, I hate it. All right.
Okay, next sus.
Sus, I say sus a lot.
Okay,
But I think the meaning of that has changed though, hasn't it? Like now it's like something sus if it's like it seems gay.
exactly.
I That's not how I use it,
Okay,
but I've heard that.
next up, slap.
Slap.
Not in the way you think. This slaps.
Oh, yeah, I say that all the time. I just used that word, Ricky.
Yeah.
I used that on Juneteenth. I had ordered some African food. I've never had African food before, and I tried it and I said, this slaps.
Yeah.
It was really good. I said, this slaps.
Yeah.
Okay, I used that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, next up, W or F.
I used that as well.
Mm,
But now people don't even say W anymore. They just say dub.
yeah.
That's a dub.
Yeah.
Which is short for W, which is short for win, which is already a one syllable word.
Yes. Yeah. Gen.
Saying W is takes longer than saying win, but it doesn't have to make sense.
Nope. Uh, next up, bet.
Bet is old.
Yeah.
Bet like made a comeback.
Yeah. It had.
Hey, bet. All right, bet.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next up. There's another slang. Uh, as F.
SF is kind of old as well.
And that was kind of comeback. Next up, based.
Based, I've heard that. What does that mean?
It's when if it's something is right. It, for what I've actually heard, it's like, oh yeah, what you said, that's based.
That's base. Is it like no cap?
Yeah, it's kind of like
Like
that.
it's just the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna really get into the cringy side of it. Next up is Cotton 4K.
Caught in 4K. Oh, is that like when you take a random video of people
Yeah.
and they're doing something weird?
Yep. 4K quality.
iPhones can't even record in 4K. Or maybe newer ones can. Mine can't.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with a 13, so I can't even do 4K, but I guess I can say caught in 4K, even if it's not.
Hmm. And next up, this one actually made a comeback. Drip.
Drip.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Rappers have been saying that one for years. I got that drip. Drip on me.
Hmm. Next up, Gaslight.
Gaslight has been really big lately.
Yeah.
Getting gaslit. You're trying to gaslight me. Yeah, you hear that get thrown around a lot.
Uh, okay, now this one, I bet you probably don't know this one.
Hmm.
Gat.
You know what's funny, Ricky? That word was used on the last episode of the Kardashians. Kim learned gat and she said that to North, her daughter, and North said, "Mom, that's cringe." She does not like. I mean, you don't want to hear your mom saying words. You don't not any of these words.
No.
Like even if your mom is Kim Kardashian, you don't want to hear your mom say "gat."
Uh,
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never used it, but I have heard that one.
okay. Next up, iPad kit.
iPad kids are huge now,
Yeah.
and that's something that's not going away.
Of course.
iPad kids, that's Gen Alpha.
So yeah, well, that's what Gen Z refers to Gen Alpha.
I think it's most now it's like really Gen Alpha. I think Gen Alpha is from like 2003
Mm,
to now or something like that.
nah, it's Gen Alpha starts in like 2010.
No, it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't go back that far.
Doesn't?
No,
Hmm.
2000. No, that would mean they're in high school. I mean, they are in high school. The upper end. But I think it starts at 2006, something like that. But yeah, like children now being born are Gen Alpha. Kids in high school now are Gen Alpha,
Yes.
and they have access to technology that we just didn't have at the age that they have it. iPads weren't around until we were in like middle school. That's when they were
Yeah.
really starting to get
Yeah.
big, and like having them in the house wasn't that common. Like we were still part of the generation that had a family computer.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
everybody, you wanted to go online, you went to the living room where the family computer was. Like what they've got now, these personal devices where they can be more private is a whole different game. And having access to the internet and access to playing games all the time and all kinds of stuff, it's just this new animal that no one knows how to properly navigate it. You know, when we don't know the long-term effects of growing up on the
Nope.
internet or growing up using devices. It's so new.
Yeah.
No one's grown up that way yet.
No. No.
Like what Gen Alpha has, we don't even know what they turn out to be.
Nah. Well, everybody already predicted they're going to turn out to be very terrible.
Honestly, it might even go the other way. Maybe they're going to be the best generation ever.
Who knows?
Who knows? We don't know yet. We'll know in about 10 years.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What was the next one?
And next one, we already used this on the podcast. You already know Karen.
Karen is a favorite of ours on the podcast.
Yes.
We stand Karens. Is Stan up there? Because that's I don't know what that's an old one. We stand Karens. We're a big fan because you keep on making this good content.
Yes. Okay.
Love you, Karens.
Next up, locked in.
Locked in. What does that mean?
The focus and be committed to what you're doing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm locked in. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Nick.
want more.
Okay. Next up, there's a lot of good ones over here, but this slang is actually used a lot. Mid.
Mid. That is used a lot. If there's any old people listening, I'm sorry, we have not been defining all of these. So if you don't know, I don't know, Urban Dictionary. Mid, but I'll tell you, mid is like it's all right. You know when something's like like you have a piece of pizza and it's like it's not delicious, but it's not awful, and you're gonna eat it. It's mid.
Yeah.
Like a Tostino's pizza.
Yeah.
Those are mid. You'll eat it, but it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not nasty, but it's not great. It's mid.
Yes.
It's all right. It's okay.
Great. Well, nah. A little bit great.
It's not great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. Pretty much. That's mid.
Well, that's all for today. We only barely scratched the surface with the slang.
Let us know if you like this segment because I know there's a lot more. We can come back and talk about do a part two and break down some more Gen Z slang.
Yes.
And that concludes our show for today. Take it with a grain of sand. Thank you for listening. And remember
to take it with a grain of sand.
Yeah, that.